Who is Jesus? He's the representative man.
Yeah.
Why did he glorify Jesus? What did Jesus say? Glorify me that I may glorify you.
Mm-hmm.
How is Jesus being glorified going to glorify God? Because Jesus was the representative of the human race. And so when God came and raised Jesus from the dead and sat him at the right hand, that was going to reveal the truth about what God thought of people. Because Jesus was the last Adam, the representative man. And so God coming and revealing what he believed about Jesus and the resurrection and the ascension glorified God in the eyes of people. Because now we see what that guy thinks of us in Jesus.
Yeah.
And now that glorifies God in our eyes.
Right. Yes. It does. Absolutely.
Then you become happy.
Yep.
Even, and listen, God is love. But we perverted, and some people won't like this, but oh well. We perverted this doctrine to try to convince ourselves that God loves us. But the verse where John says God is love, he's not just talking about the Father, nor is he just talking about the Son.
Godhead.
He's talking about the Godhead. And so when he says God is love, he'd be more accurately interpreted, the fellowship in the Godhead is love. What he's saying is, there's a life inside of the Godhead, between the Father, Son, and Spirit. And that life and that fellowship the Father, Son, and Spirit share with one another can only be described as love. Now, within that life called love is all the fruits of the Spirit, where we love one another, where we're kind to one another, where we're meek with one another, where we're trusting with one another, where we're long-suffering with one another, where all those things are part of that life in the Godhead. So when John comes and says God is love, you got to go back to the beginning. He specifically mentions the Father and the Son separately. He uses a different word for Father than he used when he gets down to God. And so he talks about the Father and the Son. And he says, truly our fellowship is with the Son. And because we have fellowship with the Son, we believe the same things about ourselves that Jesus believed about himself. And now that gives us fellowship with the Father, the same fellowship that Jesus enjoyed with the Father.
Yes.
And he says, now we've been immersed in the fellowship in the Godhead that is love.
Yeah. We're part of that.
Right. That's what he's describing a life.
Yeah.
Is what he's describing. He's describing a thing, a fellowship.
Yeah.
And so then we become immersed in that fellowship. God is love doesn't mean God has to love you whether he wants to love you or not. That's not what it means. It means God, within the Godhead is a persuasion, a wisdom. It's called the faith. That means that is the heart of God. God loves people because they're beautiful to him.
Right.
Because when he looks at them, he finds beauty in them. He finds a treasure in them. He finds a pearl of great price.
Right.
He finds adoration welling up inside of him when he looks at man. Period. Now, when you start living with that in your heart, it makes you want to throw up when you hear people say that God doesn't love you because you're lovely.
Yes.
He only loves you because he is love.
Yeah. Yeah. And also has huge influence on your heart when you see other people that way. I mean, then your relationships are healed and healthy.
Amen.
Because you're seeing things the way God sees them.